Hey, what is up guys, Rob the Undead Gamer here, and weekend just gone was the Rainbow Six Siege open beta across PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, and I'm not a massive Rainbow Six fan. Well, I say not a fan. I've never really, since before the weekend, had really any experience with the Rainbow Six franchise or any Tom Clancy title really for that matter. I played a little bit of Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas, when it first came out with a friend of mine, and that was sort of just around his house, and you know, the old split screen co-op days. Oh, those were the days. Anyway, so that's sort of about as much as my experience with Rainbow Six and Tom Clancy kind of is. It's not very much, so I can't really compare my impressions to previous titles. I can only really take what I've been given at face value. And I just want to state now that this isn't like a review or anything like that. This is literally just an impressions, if anything, of my experience with the beta and my experience with the game thus far. Now, I played with Singularity Josh, who is, I suppose you could say, he's a veteran of the Rainbow Six franchise and Tom Clancy titles. Tom Clancy titles are his thing, they're his jam. Absolute bread and butter for this guy. And he is a massive lover of like stealth and tactical shooters. So, right up his alley. These are his games. So much so that for someone like that to say they're done with Rainbow Six, they're kind of done with Tom Clancy titles, that's saying a lot. Now, let me explain. So, just as a brief sort of disclosure, sadly, I only was able to play the beta last week, which I think was the first day of the beta being open. Saturday and Sunday I was working, and then come Sunday evening when I was gonna play with Josh for like sort of like the last day, Ubisoft had decided to take down the beta. Now, I will explain why later, but so Friday was the only sort of time we had, and Friday I only racked up about 3 hours worth of play for several reasons. Now, during the beta, we had so many problems connecting to Ubisoft's servers, it was unreal. We were disconnected, the servers came down for hours at a time, to the point where, in between our gameplay, we decided, fuck this, let's go and play a better multiplayer that's got better servers, that actually works. So we played The Last of Us Online multiplayer for about an hour or two before we thought, should we try back at Rainbow Six? Should we go back and see if it's working now? And it was ridiculous. It was like the game didn't want us to play it. There was constant disconnections, constant errors with connecting to parties and that sort of thing. It was just absolutely appalling, the service that this game had. And it's once again down to Ubisoft trying to do their own thing, and it's exactly the same with EA. With their online servers, they never work. They can't get them right for some unknown reason. And the whole Uplay thing is once again another bullshit thing that you just have to go through in order to play their games. It's a totally unwanted and unnecessary service that Ubisoft are still pushing. Exactly the same as EA with Origin. It's just something that they're trying to push to make a thing, but no one wants it to be a thing, so why are you constantly pushing it? And as well, I just want to say, the game came out this week. Tuesday the 1st of December, this game came out. And this open beta, which was the weekend, 2 days or so before the actual game's release, and the servers don't even work and are so fucked that it stops you from playing and enjoying the game, that's not good. That's really, really not good. I'll get into more of that rant side of this impressions later, but for now I will talk about the game and what we played of it. And what we were able to play of it, I did enjoy. Being like my first proper experience with a Tom Clancy sort of Rainbow Six title, I enjoyed it. It was really good. I think that game really thrives on multiplayer and being able to be in a party. And just to let you know, we only played the Terrorist Hunt, which I suppose is the stock gameplay mode in a Rainbow Six game, where you get into a party of like 5 or 6 or however many it is, and you basically do a raid on this building that is full of terrorists. You kill the terrorists and you disarm the bombs, and obviously it's got numerous different difficulties, ranging from like a normal sort of mode to like a realistic mode, and with each sort of difficulty you get more and more enemies, and you also get a time limit in which you need to complete the mission before the time runs out. So some sort of nice, I suppose, additions to the gameplay, but it's quite unforgiving. It's quite hard, which is great. I mean, I wasn't great at it. I never am with stuff like this, but I don't think it impeded my enjoyment of the game at all, because even though I died so many times, and there's sort of like no respawn, there's no sort of like health regeneration thing or first aid packs or anything like that from what we experienced. It's sort of like, you know, you've got to really look after yourself, and when you die, that's it. It's up to the rest of your party for that mission to complete it, which is really interesting, and it really makes you think about the strategy and the tactics that you're going to implement to complete this mission, which is great. And although I'm not great at it, and I wasn't sort of good at doing it, and honestly most of my gameplay is kill cam, which I suppose, you know, doesn't help, but it didn't make me enjoy it any less. I compare it to stealth games. It's a different kettle of fish, obviously, but I compare it to stealth games in that I'm terrible at them, but I really, really enjoy them. Even though I'll sort of die numerous times or fuck up a strategy numerous times, I still really enjoy them, and it's still something I want to keep doing and keep getting better at. And definitely playing with people and with friends and with a party is what makes that game. It makes that game really awesome. When you've got that strategy, when you're talking to each other, you've got mics on, you're planning where you should infiltrate the building, you're planning on what you should be doing. Like, you know, blowing up doors, blowing up walls, windows, busting through there, throwing a flashbang in there, jumping in, shooting all the disorientated enemies. It's real great fun. It really is. And you've got destructible buildings as well, like walls will break, floors will crush down and all that, which is really interesting, and it makes it even more difficult, because if you've got a bunch of enemies shooting at you and you're behind this wall and suddenly this wall just disappears, you've got to think on your toes. You've got to really think fast of, like, you know, what am I doing? Am I going to try and find other cover? Am I going to shoot these guys? It's really, really interesting. You've got the suicide bombers. It was enjoyable. I'm not going to deny that it was really, really, really fun, but when we could play it. One of my other complaints with it is when you're getting into a game, you've only got like 45 seconds to sort out your loadout. Now, apparently, and we didn't discover this, but apparently there is an option where you can sort out your loadout before you even go into a game, which I wasn't aware of. So, I mean, take that as you will, but we didn't discover it. And we thought you had to just sort out your loadout in that quick 45 seconds, which wasn't great, which meant that we only were able to sort of read so much into the weapons, what they do, your other bits and bobs like grenades and stuff like that, all your tactical equipment, I suppose. And most of it was sort of like, well, I didn't finish reading that, but we'll see how I fare with this weapon and that weapon and this loadout and this person. But there's quite a lot of customizability. There's tons of guns, tons of different pieces of equipment, flashbangs, smoke bombs, all sorts of things, breaching packs which blow up walls and doors and stuff like that, and sledgehammers and all that sort of thing. So you really can have like quite a varied gameplay style. So you've got lots of people. If you've got a few friends, they can all be a specialist at something, and make sure you sort of cover all areas of like attack and defense, because it's all as important as the last, because there'll be areas where you're going to attack, and then when you're disarming the bombs, you've got to defend that bomb from the waves of terrorists that are coming at you in order to stop you from disarming said bomb. So it's all quite interesting. It's all quite tactical and very strategic, even with the loadouts and stuff like that. And it's enjoyable. That part is good and it is fun. Now, whether it's better or worse than previous Rainbow Six titles, honestly, sadly, I couldn't tell you. I enjoyed it for what it was, and that was my first experience with a Rainbow Six game. However, what did annoy me and frustrate me the most is the servers. which I mentioned previously. Now, I'm not saying this game's perfect. It's not. It can have its improvements. There was a few things that Josh was saying that wasn't the same as previous Rainbow Six titles, and there's a lot of things that you need to sort of get used to. There's a lot of things I needed to get used to, especially with the game. I had to turn down or mess around with the sensitivity quite a lot because it was very different from other first-person shooters that I've played. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, not at all. It adds an element of realism to and more strategy to how you shoot and how you use your weapons. With the sensitivity, it's very different from my experiences with a Call of Duty game, or even more recently, Destiny. Yes, I play Destiny now. But going back to the servers, it was just absolutely appalling. And as I said, the game came out this week, and it doesn't surprise me, and it won't surprise you. The game came out. The game is out. It's available. And to have so many crashes and shutdowns for an open beta with the servers, with people being disconnected, not being able to connect, they had to take the servers down for hours at a time to try and fix them, and they'd be up for another couple of hours, and then once again the same issue would arise, to the point where Sunday they took the whole fucking beta down. They took the whole damn thing down. We couldn't play it on Sunday because they took it down. And 2 days later the game's out. That's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Actually, it's not unbelievable because it's Ubisoft. Ubisoft are prime culprits of releasing games that are fucked, that don't work properly on release. We had it last year with Assassin's Creed Unity. A massive title that barely even worked on PC. And they knew the problems it had, but they released it anyway because they think, oh fuck it, it's alright, we'll just fix it with patches. People will still buy it for £40, $60. They'll still buy this full price game. We expect people to still buy this full price game that doesn't work, but it's okay, we'll eventually patch it. So sometime next year, you'll be able to play it and it'll be fine. They've done it with numerous titles this past couple of years. Drive Club, Far Cry 4, all of it. Every Ubisoft title, every Ubisoft AAA title. And it's a disservice. It's a disservice to fans of video games. It's a disservice to fans of Tom Clancy games. It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And to the point where I'll probably make another video a little bit more in depth about this subject because it's really starting to grind me a lot that they think it's okay to do this. And bearing in mind that there was a lot of, a fair few people had issues with it, or you do a beta to see an open beta to get a mass feedback of likes and dislikes of the game, what should be better, what should be better, and one major thing that needs improving is the fucking servers, because I bet you, all they had really was Sunday and Monday to try and sort out those servers, and I doubt they fucking did it. I bet there are still server issues. If you want my honest opinion, and I can't speak for the full game because I don't have it, but if it's, they wouldn't have had much time to improve it from the beta. One day, if that. It's appalling. So this game has probably come out with the same server issues and the same issues that the beta has got because they've not had time to fix those problems, those issues, which they should have done. If you want my honest opinion, if you really want Rainbow Six Siege, get it next year. Get it next year, February, March, when they've probably sorted out the fucking issues that the game's got. That's my honest opinion. Don't buy it now. It's a waste of fucking time and money. Really is. What they should have done is what Star Wars Battlefront did. They had an open beta about a month or so before the game was actually released, which gave the developers, which gave EA, which gave DICE a good month to look at the feedback, look at the likes and dislikes, change what has been said, and they did. From what I hear, they changed a lot in that game to make it after their feedback they got from the open beta. Because they were smart. I know I'm saying EA and DICE were smart, my god. But they were smart enough to think, let's have the beta a good, decent time before the actual release of the game. So if there is anything we can improve on, so if there is anything we can fix, we got time to do that. Why didn't Ubisoft do this? Why isn't Rainbow Six Siege doing this? Why not? It's unfathomable. It's disgusting. I know that this has been a rant and it's just my impressions of the beta, but I don't get how with the tiny time they had, that this wasn't fixed. Now, partly due to other commitments, I didn't have a full sort of go at the game as much as I could have. But I could have had a lot longer had the servers fucking worked. And the game hadn't been taken down on the Sunday. A lot more time. Take what I said with a pinch of salt if you wish. It's absolutely, these are just my opinions. This isn't, again, a review of the game in any stretch or any form of the imagination. But it's just kind of, I'm kind of sick of this sort of practice. And as I said, I will make a video on my problems with the way developers and publishers deal with this sort of thing, but it's affected what could potentially be a really good and big title. Something that's quite different to everything that's out there at the moment. Rainbow Six has always been that franchise. Tom Clancy games have always been that type of game that adheres to a different type of market. The tactical shooter. There's not enough of those titles out at the moment, and for years there hasn't been, really. Tom Clancy titles kind of paved the way for that genre. And here's a next-gen version which doesn't really provide that. So, I've rambled on a lot. I'm sorry. I hope, if anything, you've taken anything from this video. Either disagree or agree with me. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did you play the beta? What was your experiences of it? Have you got the full game? What are your experiences with it now? Am I wrong in my assumptions or what I've said? Let me know. Let's have a constructive chat about it. Let's debate. Let's debate this. So, yeah, I might have some beta footage come up with our audio, with our commentary later this week. It might be sort of similar to what you're watching now, but yeah, but it'll be with the commentary. So, I've been Rob the Undead Gamer. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.